what we're going to talk about now is what the movements in the kata represent. Do they actually represent an entire self-defensive technique, or are they representing simple postures? Right? In my upbringing, it was that they're representing postures. Right? And it's a hard concept to grasp because the way that a kata moves, you see, look left, you move left, you block left, you punch left. This is all a part of the deceiving nature of kata. What you're actually seeing is a human being's inability to stop time, move to another frame, and then unpause the video camera. Okay? So what you're actually seeing is this as the starting position, this as the ending position. What happens in between here is not necessarily known. Imagine that you're reading a book and you see on the first page a person is standing like this. On the second page you see that the person is standing like this. What they did in between as you were turning the page is not known. All right? The development of kata is the replacement of written material. Right? There was an oral and a physical tradition in carrying on the karate legacy. The stuff was just not written down. All right? So what they did was you have technique number 1, which looks like this. Technique number 2, which looks like this. But what you're actually doing there has nothing to do with me setting up the technique here. Okay? When I look left or move left, it does not necessarily mean that my opponent is to the left. So, let's just take a basic technique, one that I'm sure everybody has seen, the basic down block. All right? This technique, without going into a huge explanation, this technique, if I simply take my partner here and do this to him, I get this. Why does this work? Because this is what is happening in between here and here. Okay? He does a straight punch. Or some variation thereof. The point is, the transition periods are an area of gray information in the kata. It is not exactly known what is going on in there. Okay? We have standard variables that we put in there. For example, he punches me, I have to get out of the way. That may not be demonstrated in the kata. You may simply see the end technique. But I have to get out of the way. The second thing, I have to distract him. Okay? So when he punches me, I distract him. I distract him. I distract him. I'm going to do something to get his mind off of the attack. Included in these variables is off balancing and setting up the technique. If we were boxing, if he had his guard up and I've got my guard up like this, and he were to do a jab to me, I would never in 100 years be able to get this technique. Okay? What you are seeing is an actual fight, and this is the end result technique. What happens in the transition? The transition may look like something like this. We've got our guard up, he steps in and punches, and I have to hit him several times, okay? Knee him in the groin, stomp on his foot, and then once I get him distracted enough, the technique opens itself up, boom, and this allows me to put him in a position where not only do I have him under control, but my next technique is going to be unavoidable. I have put him in a position where he can't block my next technique. Okay? So, a lot of people confuse the movements in the kata with the actual self-defense techniques. I'm standing here, frame 1. Frame 2 is here. What is happening here is not necessarily what I'm doing to my opponent. It's simply that I can't get from here to here without moving. Okay? So, one more time. He punches. In comes my variables. Get out of the way. Stun him. Immobilize the arm. Hit him to distract him. Off balance him. Then, the end techniques, once I have it set up, the end technique that you see in the kata appears. This gets me in a position to immobilize him and create an unavoidable follow-up that is going to end the fight. Okay? One more example, the middle block. Okay? What we see on the middle block is here. Okay? Again, I am not looking to my left. Somebody is punching me. I block here at the area on his arm where I know I'm supposed to make contact, because if I come back to my original position, when he steps and punches, he missed. Okay? This, it doesn't matter how hard you want to make that block. The block was unneeded. He missed. So, a better explanation is that I am facing my opponent and a fight ensues. Okay? He's got his guard up. I've got my guard up. People have been putting their guard up in fights for thousands of years. Okay? He punches at me, and we get into some sort of scrap where I'm hitting on him, I'm kicking on him, and so on, and all of a sudden, a particular technique opens itself up. I've got this pinned. He punches me with his other hand. 1, 2. Okay? And what you see here with this wrist lock is this outside middle block motion. Okay? One more time. Punch. He punches with the other hand. 1 and 2. This is my middle block. Okay? One more time. Now that I have him in this position, it's going to be really hard for him to block whatever it is I've got coming at him. Okay? So, that's a quick explanation on what the movements in the kata are in relation to an actual fight.